Hello, Turbo Boy. What are you doing with your bank passbook?
Hello, teacher. I'm looking to see how much money I've saved so far.
So how much have you saved?
I've saved $231.45 so far.
That's good, Turbo Boy. Coincidentally, we're going to learn about multiplication and division of decimals, and money is written in decimals.
I know that, teacher. The numbers to the left of the decimal point represent the dollars, while the numbers to the right of the decimal point represent the cents.
In fact, decimals can be used to represent fractions or parts of a whole in number form. In the decimal 231.456, the digits before the decimal point are whole numbers, and the value of each digit in 231 is 2 hundredths, 3 tenths, 1 1. The digits after the decimal point are less than 1 in value, and the value of each digit is 4 tenths or 0.4, 5 hundredths or 0.05, 6 thousandths or 0.006. Today, we are going to learn the multiplication of decimals. When multiplying a decimal by a whole number, we do multiplication like that of two whole numbers. The decimal point in the product should align with the decimal point of the decimal. Let me show you an example. 7 times 512 equals 3584, and 1 times 512 equals 512. I add 3584 and 512 to get 8704. Since there are two decimal places in the decimal 5.12, the answer will also be in two decimal places. Therefore, 5.12 times 17 equals 87.04.
It is really like the way I multiply whole numbers, except for the last part.
Right. Can you tell me the answer for the next sum?
4 times 205 equals 820, and 2 times 205 equals 410. I add 820 and 410, which is equal to 4,920. Since there are two decimal places in the decimal 2.05, the answer will also be in two decimal places. Therefore, 2.05 times 24 equals 49.20.
Well done, Turbo Boy.
Does that mean I do division of decimals the same way as I divide whole numbers?
Yeah, you are partly right. When dividing a decimal by a whole number, we divide like we should divide a whole number. However, you must remember to align the decimal point in the quotient with the decimal point of the decimal. Let me show you an example. 37.05 divide 15 equals 2.47. Do long division as you would with whole numbers. Just remember to write in the decimal point for the quotient and make sure it is aligned with that of the decimal. Turbo Boy, can you tell me the answer for the next sum?
41.52 divided by 6 equals 6.92. Using long division, I divide 41.52 by 6 as I would if they were whole numbers. I write in the decimal point between 6 and 9 in the quotient.
Well done, Turbo Boy. Turbo Boy, in whole numbers, we have learned how to add zeros behind the numbers when we multiply them by 10, 100, or 1000. In decimals, when we multiply decimal by 10, we move the decimal point one place to the right. For example, 4.249 times 10 equals 42.49. When we multiply a decimal by 100, we move the decimal point 2 places to the right. For example, 4.249 times 100 equals 424.9. When we multiply a decimal by 1000, we move the decimal point 3 places to the right. For example, 4.249 times 1000 equals 4249. 4249 is the same as 4249.0.
Whoa, that is fun to see the decimal point jumping. Let me try to see whether I can get the sums right.
Here they are. What is 1.635 times 10?
To multiply a decimal by 10, we move the decimal point 1 place to the right. 1.635 times 10 equals 16.35.
Right. What is 1.635 times 100?
To multiply a decimal by 100, we move the decimal point 2 places to the right. 1.635 times 100 equals 163.5.
Right. What is 1.635 times 1000?
To multiply a decimal by 1000, we move the decimal point 3 places to the right. 1.635 times 1000 equals 1635.
Excellent! Turbo Boy, I have another sum for you. What is 8.17 times 1000? 8.17 times 1000 equals 8170. To multiply a decimal by 1000, we move the decimal point 3 places to the right. Since after 7 there is an empty space, we add a 0 there. Now try this. What is 20.5 times 1000?
20.5 times 1000 equals 20,500. To multiply a decimal by 1000, I move the decimal point 3 places to the right. I put a 0 in each empty space. What happens when 20.5 times 200?
That's easy. Let me show you. 20.5 times 200 equals 20.5 times 2 times 100 equals 41.0 times 100 equals 4100. We break 200 up into 2 times 100. We multiply 20.5 by 2 to get 41.0. And then we multiply 41.0 by 100. Finally, we get 4100. Try this question, Turbo Boy. What do you get when you take 1.21 times 30?
1.21 times 30 equals 1.21 times 3 times 10, which is equals to 3.63 times 10, which is equals to 36.3. I break 30 up into 3 times 10. I multiply 1.21 by 3 to get 36.3, and I then multiply 36.3 by 10. So 1.21 times 30 equals 36.3.
Good. Now we move on to division of decimals. In decimals, when we divide a decimal by 10, we move the decimal point 1 place to the left. For example, 424.9 divided by 10 equals 42.49. When we divide a decimal by 100, we move the decimal point 2 places to the left. For example, 424.9 divided by 100 equals 4.249. When we divide a decimal by 1000, we move the decimal point 3 places to the left. For example, 424.9 divided 1000 equals 0.4249. There is an empty space in front of the decimal point. Again, we put a 0 in the empty space.
Let me try to see whether I can get the sums right.
Here they are. What is 163.5 divided by 10?
To divide a decimal by 10, we move the decimal point 1 place to the left. 163.5 divided by 10 equals 16.35.
Right. What is 163.5 divided by 100?
To divide a decimal by 100, we move the decimal point 2 places to the left. 163.5 divided by 100 equals 1.635.
Right. What is 163.5 divided by 1000?
To divide a decimal by 1000, we move the decimal point 3 places to the left. 163.5 divided by 1000 equals 0.1635. I put a 0 in the empty space.
Excellent, Turbo Boy. I have another sum for you. What is 817 divided 100?
817 divided by 100 equals 8.17. We know that 817 is a whole number, so the decimal point is behind the digit 7. To divide a decimal by 100, we move the decimal point 2 places to the left.
Well done, Turbo Boy. Now what do you think happens when we divide 6.6 by 20?
That's easy. Let me show you. 6.6 divided by 20 equals 3.3 divided by 10, which is equals to 0.33. I divide 6.6 by 2 and I get 3.3. I then divide 3.3 by 10. Finally, we get 0.33.
Excellent! Turbo Boy, what have you learned today?
I've learned multiplication of decimals. When multiplying a decimal by a whole number, we do multiplication like that of two whole numbers. The decimal point in the product should align with the decimal point of the decimal. So, 5.12 times 17 equals 87.04. When dividing a decimal by a whole number, we divide like we would divide a whole number. The decimal point in the quotient should align with the decimal point of the decimal. I've also learned that when we multiply a decimal by 10, 100, or 1000, we move the decimal point 1, 2, or 3 places to the right respectively. So, 4.249 times 10 equals 42.49. 4.249 times 100 equals 424.9. 4.249 times 1000 equals 4249. When we divide a decimal by 10, 100, or 1000, we move the decimal point 1, 2, or 3 places to the left respectively. So, 424.9 divided by 10 equals 42.49. 424.9 divided by 100 equals 4.249. 424.9 divided by 1000 equals 0.4249.
Well done, Turbo Boy. Goodbye.